you don't remember what that is. Hold on, we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it. I'm T Street Controversy. I call the show T Street Controversy Live. I talk about boxing for real combat media, live, unedited, and uncut. So what I want to say here to you today is that 44, 1-1, 31 knockouts, Saul Canelo El Cineman Alvarez has been rumored, and it's all over the internet, just Google it, that he's going to be taking on, or maybe taking on, remember, maybe taking on Joshua Clottey. I forgot his alias. But Josh Clottey, 38-4 with 22 knockouts. If you remember, in 2009, he fought Miguel Cotto in a close fight. 2010, a lot of people felt that he took a secret envelope, an unmarked white envelope with a wad of cash in it from Bob Arum. And in 2011, he fought a guy by the name of Calvin Green. He didn't fight in 2012. And in 2013, he had one fight. And then his last fight, most notably this year, he fought Anthony the Man, or Anthony Chuck Mundine in Australia. And a lot of people were like, well, where did he come from? But then again, a lot of people in the United States don't even know who Anthony Mundine is. But what I'm going to say is this. People that know of this news or have heard of this rumor are saying that, well, why is he not fighting Miguel Cotto? And then also, a lot of fans already know that, wait a minute, Canelo's supposed to be a Showtime fighter. Isn't he supposed to have a three-fight pay-per-view Showtime deal? Well, we're going to talk about all that. I've been trying to do a little bit more research on it, but the only information I was able to really get is that this is Oscar De La Hoya's working to try to get, the networks back involved when making crossover fights again. But that makes me ask the question of, okay, all right. Canelo's supposed to return December the 13th, 2014. That's the date. We don't know. That's what they're saying is the official date. It's said to be in New York City. Now, I'm thinking, okay, are they going to bring Canelo to the Barclays? That'd be a smart move. He hasn't been to the Barclays. But who would he fight? And a lot of people already know that Miguel Cotto is supposed to return in December as well. So the question is, well, if it's going to be on HBO, then why not fight Miguel Cotto on HBO in December? Because if you don't know, Miguel Cotto's WBC 160-pound title is going to have to be defended sometime before May of next year. So meaning that super fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Miguel Cotto, that's supposed to be in Madison Square Garden, that they've been talking about taking back Cinco de Mayo from Floyd Mayweather beating up on Spanish-speaking fighters. Well, that plan, it can still work, but see, here's the thing. All right, on October the 18th, 2014, Gennady Golovkin, 30-0 with 27 knockouts, the WBA and the IBO 160-pound champion. He is recognized as the 160-pound champion. You know why? Because a lot of fans feel that Miguel Cotto will not fight him. Freddie Roach, the trainer of Miguel Cotto, says Golovkin can be easily hit, which is somewhat true. But my question is, the defense of Miguel Cotto is a lot better. Don't take that away. It is a lot better. But I'm thinking you have a pressure fighter in Golovkin that will keep coming towards you, and not to mention he hits hard. Going up against power punchers. I'm talking about power punchers. Miguel Cotto has had problems, and he's got his face busted up. Now, will he win? That's something I gotta wait to talk about. But as it stands right now, the winner of that Rubio versus Golovkin fight is going to be Marco Antonio Rubio, Gennady Golovkin. Where's it at? It's in New York? Yeah, it's in New York. It's going to be Nonito Donaire versus Nicholas Walters on the undercard. But the winner of that main event will become the #1 contender for the WBC 160-pound title. Now, the mandatory WBC. Now, Marco Antonio Rubio was already #1 contender, and I don't know what's going on with Martin Murray because he's got a WBC international belt, and I thought he was the #1 contender. But anyway, moving on. You're saying, okay, all right, let me back up. So, what I'm saying is that Miguel Cotto, if he wants to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez in May, Cinco de Mayo of 2015, hell yeah, he can go do it. But he'll have to drop that WBC belt, which will answer a lot of fans' questions of he was never a real 160-pounder anyway. So that little monkey wrench right there already cancels out Cotto versus Canelo on Cinco de Mayo if Cotto wants to keep that belt, because the WBC is going to order the winner. Once again, I keep saying it, Golovkin versus Rubio to be the #1 contender, and usually that fight has to be made within 3 months. So, moving on, you got Cotto. He's supposed to be returning on HBO. Now, he's not an exclusive HBO fighter, but with Sergio Martinez, and then with Sergio Martinez and with this next fight, he has said he's going to, well, he is working with Freddie Roach, and he is working with Top Ranks Bob Arum and HBO. So, you got to get to the other question is, well, who is Miguel Cotto fighting? And then what happened to James Kirkland, and Canelo Alvarez? That's the name that's been floating around. But we haven't seen James Kirkland since the Glenn Tapia fight. And let's be honest, James Kirkland has been known to have problems outside of the ring. And something telling me there is another problem outside of the ring. I don't know, but I'm saying at this point in his career, it's probably somebody in his ear like, yo, we're going to keep this shit quiet, but get your fucking life together. Because that Glenn Tapia fight, he drew a lot of ratings, and then guess what? One of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world, Guillermo Rigondeaux, fought on the main event, and they left during his fight. So the James Kirkland, Glenn Tapia, they was basically there, for him, and he kept the people in the seats. But then when Rigondeaux came out, we all know what happened. So once again, why Josh Clottey? Josh Clottey, once again, 38-4, one fight in 2009. Miguel Cotto, one fight in 2010. Remember, he was the late Diego Corrales' last opponent. He's had good fights, and if you look at his last 5 fights, he's 3-2. If you look at his last fight, Anthony Mundine, they were fighting for the #1 contender for the WBA title, one of the WBA titles. You got the WBA Super World 154-pound title, which Floyd Mayweather has. And then you got the WBA World title, which Erislandy Lara has. So you have to look at Josh Clottey's situation where he's trying to get his name back out there. And it's like, okay, I get Mundine. Mundine is somewhat of an international superstar outside of the United States, if I can say so. I'm not going to say superstar. He's a very well-known boxer, and he's a celebrity over there, and you can see why. But over here in the States, he's not that known. But if you look at the rankings, Anthony Mundine retired Shane Mosley. No matter how you say it in the books, Shane Mosley quit because of back spasms. And in the United States, to watch Anthony Mundine fights, that means that the main event comes on like 5:30 in the morning. So I got to get up and just be like, But what I'm saying is Anthony Mundine was a credible opponent, and they were fighting for a #1 contender title. So you might ask, but why is Canelo fighting him? Because the winner will be another #1 contender. Now we know that fans, for both of those WBA titles, they can pick one. Now we know that there's a lot of fans, but not the majority. There's a lot of fans that feel that Lara won the fight, but from my research, and go research yourself, it's not the majority that thought that Lara won the fight. And even the people that say Lara won the fight, they can see how he lost the fight by not throwing punches to the body, by, doing that 1, 2, 3, that jab left, and maybe the uppercut. It just wasn't enough punch variety, and also he didn't make it exciting. So Oscar De La Hoya, look at it from the promoter standpoint. Lara didn't provide an exciting fight, but we know the way Lara fights. We knew it was going to be that type of fight. We knew he was going to stay away. But for his first fight on pay-per-view, he should have did a little more, especially if your alias is the American Dream. Now, he did get the American Dream by getting on pay-per-view, but he didn't do enough to win the fight against Canelo in a lot of people's eyes, and I'm saying the majority. So, moving on. Even as a promoter, you don't make a rematch like that right away. It's like, okay, Lara, go get some shit together, then we can fight again in a couple more years. Fans want an immediate rematch? Nah, I don't see no point in it. I don't see no point in it, especially that the numbers didn't do as expected. There's still speculations on the numbers because Steven Espinoza of Showtime Sports, the executive, has basically been in so much heat because they didn't release the numbers. They celebrated the numbers for Mayweather versus Alvarez. But then with Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero, with Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana, didn't share the numbers. So it makes us think like, well, okay, of course you're hiding something. I mean, come on. Like, of course it's not, what you're saying it is, because it's like, if it is, just show us. Y'all celebrated the other numbers. But moving on, we don't know how good the Canelo versus Lara fight did. I know that hardcore boxing fans who watch and follow the sport every week, and I'm talking about the people that when the major fight comes on, when the big names, when the titles are defended, those people knew that Canelo versus Lara was a big fight. Why? Because Canelo showed that he had real big tiger balls. And he went in there and he took on a man and asked for a fight that social media and majority of the fans at one point in time, including myself, thought that he would lose. So once he picked the fight, I changed my whole prediction. I was like, there's something about this kid. And I thought to myself, he's not going to go in there and fight the same fight he fought against Floyd Mayweather. Why? It's because he can't take another loss at this point in time to a fast fighter. Because that's going to be the stigma. That's going to always hang over his career. Oh, he can only beat fighters that's right in front of him. He can't beat fast fighters. But what did he do? He went out there for 12 straight rounds and he fired power punches, only 9 jabs for 12 straight rounds, and he did not gas, not once. Maybe if Lara would have invested to the body a little bit, I don't know. So what I'm saying to you is, Canelo, he fought Angulo on Showtime Pay Per View. You know, actually pretty good numbers for him against Angulo. He fought Erislandy, Lara, how can I put it? His nemesis, the nemesis of his career. He fought the person that nobody said he was going to. The nemesis, that was his nemesis at 154. So he got him out of the way. Okay, fans want a rematch. All right, give it a little bit of time, in a couple of years. You know, that's not how boxing works. Look, I mean, look at the Marquez versus Pacquiao situation when they fought that big gap between the first fight and the second fight. You know, so if you look at the Josh Clottey fight. Josh Clottey is somewhat of a different fighter, but I want you to understand that Josh Clottey will be the smaller fighter, not in the height. But remember, Josh Clottey started his career at 140. I'm not saying that that Canelo can't go down that low, but the highest that Clottey has weighed in, if I'm correct, was a little under 157 pounds. But what I'm saying to you, he's not a fighter that hydrates up to some like 170, 175 type stuff. He looks like when he's in the ring, he still remains at about 160. But people are saying, oh, you know, that Pacquiao fight, he just was in the shell all day. People are saying that it's not going to be an exciting fight. Josh Clottey is washed up. Actually, he's a lot. I feel, I'm not going to say a lot. I feel he's more aggressive. And then when you have Clottey, who does not back down outside of that Pacquiao fight, he's going to keep coming for Canelo, and the perfect fight to create excitement for the fans. So don't think that Josh Clottey, they just pulled him out of nowhere. You know, he did beat a Mundine who had retired to Shane Mosley and was on what, a 4-fight winning streak, and was like 8-2 in his last 4 fights up until now. He's now 7-3. So when you think about, well, you know, once again, why him? Don't think that they just pulled him out of the hat. He's the WBA Intercontinental Champion. He's going to be taking they're saying he may be taking on Canelo, and I can see where Clottey's going. Now, Clottey's path, if he does fight Canelo, it'll be like, okay, well, I got this WBA title. I get Canelo's name under my belt. And I say he's going to win. I get Canelo's name under my belt, and then I get to pick between Mayweather or Erislandy Lara, but he most likely will go for Erislandy Lara. But for his career, that puts him in a great spot, and a spot that he's earned. They didn't just put him in there, remember, if the fight does happen. But on Canelo's side, it's like, okay, get an exciting fight from a guy, you know, who's a #1 contender, and also, you know, a name that fans know, you know, from Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto. Now, before I wrap up this video, I'm going to say, well, why, once again, not Miguel Cotto? I'm thinking to myself, now, me as a fan, I'm not talking about, you know, I'm thinking, you got these two fighters, they're going to be fighting on the same network. Why not just get that shit out of the way now? Now, once again, you have to think like a promoter. It is September. So then you got October and November to sell the fight, you know, and get the press. You announce it sometime later on in September. Then you got October and November to, you know, like start selling the fight, because that's a massive fight. And it's just not enough time for a fight of that magnitude. It's just not enough time. And there's even more questions about, well, why is he not fighting on Showtime if it is going to be on HBO? You know, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he may owe Showtime one more pay-per-view, but he don't have to give them that pay-per-view right now. And then Showtime may be saying, okay, yeah, go over HBO right now. So, you know, Miguel Cotto have his fight in the fall, and you know, you back on Showtime for that pay-per-view, and he probably won't be with Arum anymore. We can make that Cotto Canelo fight, you know, in the spring, even if it's not on Mayweather weekend. But, you know, there's so many different scenarios, and right now you have to understand that, remember, it's only 3 months. So we're gonna hear who Canelo's opponent is soon, because they want to sell the fight, and they want to make sure they get maximum numbers, because they've been promoting these fights ever since the Canelo. I mean, ever since Mayweather versus Mundine, you see what they did with that. They went out there, got on a press tour, all that shit. I mean, they did what was that? A 3-day or a 5-day press tour where they would have to be like on the jet twice a day, flying from like New York, you know, to like LA. I forgot what exactly he went, but what I'm saying is that press tour was hectic, saying the same shit every day, twice a day, you know. So go back and research what I'm talking about, you know. So I think that Miguel Cotto, you know, we know when it comes to the table, when it comes to him sitting down and negotiating the fight, we all know he can, you know, be a diva with pink Crocs and in the bed. He's married now. So I want to say I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover boxing with Real Combat Media. So I do the video reporting, and then we put the articles right down below. You know, it's the first link right there. Now I got a boxing forum myself. Now this is what I want. This is my approach. My boxing forum is open. There are real boxers there. You talk about boxing. You know, everything is boxing related. I make sure all news comes there first, because not only from me, but from everybody in the boxing community as well. So what you got to do is you got to send a friend request. Right now, I'm filling up. I got about 40, close to like 4,100 something people. So it's going to be filling up pretty soon. And like I said, everybody's there for a reason. You know, you can get everything you want from boxing on that page. Simple as that. So once again, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Every single major fight, I'm here live. Predictions, news, rumors, whatever it is, videos, subscribe.